Welcome to Internet Quality Academy. The channel is for the quality control engineer, site engineer, and the civil engineer who are working in the construction field. In this channel, we are dealing with anything and everything which is related to construction and quality control. Today also, I'm going to discuss about a very important topics, that is how to perform cube test, because the cube test result will ultimately satisfy that whether my structure is safe or not. In any project throughout the world, that cube strength report is essential. So we need to know what is the apparatus, what is the number of sample, how to perform the test, and how to report and everything. So stay tuned until the end to get the full information about the cube strength procedure and how to perform the cube strength at the site. Now, to understand that one, first we need to know what is the relevant Indian standard for the strength, that is IS 516 Part 1 Section 1 2021. This is the code that we need to follow whenever we are doing any concrete cube strength or cube or either cylindrical, whatever it is. But today we are going to discuss about only cube. So focus on the cube. If it is on the cylinder, that is a separate subject that also we'll discuss in some other days. So what is the test specimen? The test specimen also is mentioned in the same IS 4516. Let's jump into that 516. Let's see what it is saying in IS 516 Part 1, Section 1, 2021. So here it is saying test specimen shall be a cube or a cylinder meeting the requirement of IS 119 Part 5 and IS 516 Part 5 concrete codes. So we are here discussing about the concrete cubes. So what will be the test specimen criteria? That is to be satisfied the IS 119 Part 5. Now we need to check what is mentioned in the IS 119 Part 5. That we need to understand what is mentioned in IS 119 Part 5. See, here it is IS 119 Part 5. What is saying? That 4.1 clause cube size of test specimen, the test specimen shall be 150 cubes as shown in figure, where everything. So all we know that the cube size is 150, 150, 150. And if we are doing a cylindrical, then the cylindrical have a diameter of the 150 mm and a length 300 mm as shown in figure. So 150 mm diameter and length is 300 meter. So whatever that test specimen, whether it is a cube or whether it's a cylinder, that is mentioned is IS 119 Part 5, and this is the size of the test specimen. Any other size will not be valid. So it is mentioned in the IS 455. So what will be the test apparatus? Now we need to do the cube at the site. But how to do the cube and how to take the cube at the site, that is a separate subject, and I have made a detailed video on that. Please check there, or in the description you will find full information how to sampling the cubes or how to prepare the cube at the site. Now we need to understand other part also. So state specimen, we have already mentioned that it is cube or the uh, of cylinder, but here we are discussing about the cubes. Now what is the apparatus that we need to know, that what is the apparatus in order to perform the cube test? So that is, the test shall be carried out using a compression testing machine conforming to IS 14858. Now we need to understand that the compression testing machine should be conformed that IS 14858. The test machine shall be in calibration at the time of test. The calibration shall be carried out at least once per year. So it is mentioned in the code that the testing machine should be satisfied or confirming 14858, and the calibration should be once in a year. Now, what is the age of test? That means what age we will do the cube. The test shall be made at recognized age at the test specimen, the most usual being 7 and 28 days. That is widely used in the project site, 7 days and 28 days. And this 56 and 96 days also we are using. Why? Because of the using the GGBS and fly ash, that is, it is slow down the process of hydration. That is why maybe we will get the strength in the 56 days or in 90 days. That is why also we need to test the 56 and 90 days as per the requirement of the project or as per the mixed design. So test also you need to verify whether 7 or not. So what will be the number of tests? That should be at least each selected 3. So in IS 456 it is mentioned the minimum 3 cubes has to take in order to validate the test procedure. If it is 2, this is not valid. So one sample, it is equal to 3 cubes minimum. So what we cover: test specimen, apparatus, age of test, and the number of tests. Now we need to understand what is the procedure. The procedure for specimen stored in water. All we know, the after cube test the cube, after making the cube, when I remove the cubes and we pour into the water, and it is underwater. Now we need to remove from the water and we need to do the test. But how it is doing, that is mentioning. For specimen stored in water, excess moisture shall be wiped out from the surface of the specimen before placing them in the testing machine. The dimension of the specimen of the nearest zero point 0.2 mm in their weight shall be noted before testing. So dimension and also weight to be mentioned and write down in the procedure. So the time between the extraction of the specimen from the curing tank and the testing shall be as short as possible and not more than 2 hours. That means whenever we are taking the cube from the curing tank and when we do the testing, that should be maximum 2 hours. Within 2 hours, we need to perform the test. If it is more than 2 hours, it is not valid. So that should be very much important, that we need to do the test within the 2 hours of the removing the cube from the tank. During the time of specimen outside in the curing tank, it shall be protected from drying, maybe covering with the wet cloth. That means when if we are taking out the cubes and we are not doing the test and maybe 1 hour we are keeping, we need to keep it wet by covering with the clothes. So all testing machine bearing surface shall be wiped clean and loose grit and other external material removed from the surface of the specimen that will be in contact with the plate. So it should be remove everything so that the load can directly placed on the cubes, not the grit or anything else. So these are the things we need to do before taking the test. Now we need to do the loading. So what will be the loading? See, here is a very important things that you need to understand, that we cannot do the load as per our own. Our IS code has specified what will be the loading increment. So what is saying? The load shall be applied without shock and shall be increased continuously at a constant rate of 40 Newton per millimeter square per minute until no greater load can be sustained. The maximum load indicated shall be recorded. Now, it is saying that there will be no shock. That means at a sudden we cannot apply the load. That load increment should be 14 Newton per millimeter square per minute. Now, in our case, it is 150 into 150. So if we calculate, it is the coming at around 5.25 per kilonewton per second. So you need to be very careful when we are increase the load or when you are applying the load, that the load increment should not be 5.25 Newton per millimeter Newton per second for the 150 into 150 cube. If any other size of cube, that will be different. So here it is saying 140 Newton millimeter square per minute. So these are things we need to be very careful. Now assessment of type. So what will be indicated, that maximum load will be indicated. Maximum load, suppose example we are coming 1000 kilonewton. Now how you calculate that one? 1000 kilonewton, you need to first convert it into the Newton. So 1000 into 1000. Now Newton per millimeter square, it is our MPa. So 1000 into 1000 divided by what is the surface area of the cube? That is 150 into 150. We have to divide it. Then we will get the MPa of that cube, or Newton per millimeter square cube. So this way we cannot calculate the cube. So loading pattern. Now assessment of type of failure. Now it is very much important that whenever the cube is failing, whenever the maximum load applies, it will break. So what will be the breaking pattern or what will be the failure pattern? Depending upon the failure pattern, we can say whether it is accepted or not. So what is saying, for cube specimen, if the failure is satisfactory, in figure A, this fact shall be recorded. If the failure pattern is unsatisfactory, this fact shall also be recorded, and the type of failure recorded using the pattern numbered in the figure 2 closest to the observed. Now if these are the things you are getting the failure, that means we have our failure is satisfactory. And if we are getting like this, these 9 type of failure, that means our failure is unsatisfactory. That means this cube has not taken accepted. There may be the loading pattern problem, there may be the cube problem, whatever may be, but it is not acceptable. So for not only we should observe that whatever the maximum load of breaking, we also need to observe that what type of failure it is. Depending upon the failure pattern, we need to also understand whether this cube result is accepted or not. So in figure 1, it is saying what is the loading pattern, accepted failure pattern, and figure 2 it is saying whatever the failure pattern which is not accepted. And whenever we are making a report, we need to mention what type of failure is there. So here it is. So how to take the result? The compression strength result will be given by F by S. That I already discussed, that what is the maximum force divided by the surface area of the cubes, and we'll get the Newton millimeter square. And after getting the Newton millimeter square, what is saying? The compression strength shall be expressed to the nearest 0.5. That means if you are getting 40.29, it should be 40. Or if you're getting 41.565, that is 40.1.5. So nearest 0.5 MPa should be the our reporting format. So this way we are getting the cube strength. You are doing the cube test result and cube get the cube strength. But what is the acceptance criteria? That also you need to understand. For that I have made a detailed videos. Check there or in the description. You will get full information about what is the acceptance criteria for the cube test result and how to report that a test report following information shall be included. Details of concrete like grade, mixed detail, etc. Cast specimen and details of the structure like structural type, origin, that means what is the structure element and what is the location of the structure element, then type of specimen test or the cube test or the cylinder, or drill code, the size of specimen or capping details, identification mark, that means cube identification mark, how you will do the cube identification, age of specimen, date of test, curing condition, weight of specimen, dimension of specimen, maximum load, details of the machine used, compressive strength specimen to the nearest 0.5, and type of failure. So these are all the things we need to mention whenever we are doing the concrete cube strength. So what in summarize, what we need to know: what is the test specimen, what is the apparatus, what is the age of test, what is the number of specimen, and what is the procedure, what is the loading, and what is the failure, and how to calculate the cube strength, and how to report that one, and what is the in the report what you need to mention, and what is the acceptance criteria of the cube. So I hope you enjoy this information or this video, and if you enjoy this, please like, share, and subscribe my channel. And I'm waiting for your valuable comment, so that from your valuable comment everybody will be benefited. And if you want to know anything more about quality control and construction, please let me know. I will come with more content like this. And thank you once again for watching me.